2C first. For exercise 2C, any issues with question 4? Question 6? Question 9? Question 11? 13? And 16? 16 is it? Okay. As you know, this chapter, exercise 2C is going to be part of your WA1, which is happening on Monday. Okay, so that will actually mean, not Monday, Tuesday, I'm sorry, I meant Tuesday. Okay, so maybe let's tell you what. Okay, could I get you to mark your homework on your own? This is on probability. Then I'll explain question 16. And then you all heard what the thing said in the morning, right? That means the E-Maths students that don't take the A-Maths, right? Those POA students, you will have to stay in class for times when there is A-Maths but no POA. There are periods like that, right?
They say you can go to study.
They say you can go, cannot what?
If there's a lesson in this class, you need to go somewhere else.
Was that the instruction?
Yeah, if there's a lesson.
No, the message that I received was that you all stay in class.
Oh, they said that we can go to the study class at level 1 and level 2.
Oh,
Why if there's
so the message I received different.
That's what Shimon said.
I didn't bring out my phone. Okay. Because I hear that cannot go library. Cannot go library, right? But I can go study corner. Okay lor, then that's true then. Okay lah. But let me also go and double check so. Okay. Will you just take out a pencil, a red pen, okay, if you have, or else a green pen. Okay. And then please mark the work. Yeah, you bring out my textbook. You have a textbook there to follow. Yeah, but thank you. Exercise. Okay. So question 4, right? Okay, your answers, alright, should be 7/12. Okay. 7/24 as well as 3/8. Okay. Please mark your own work because I will not be able to return in time before WA. Okay. Any issues? If you have, please raise it so that I can address immediately. 7/12, 7/24, and 3/8. Seven over 24. 3/8. Okay, please remember to simplify your fractions. Alright, next, question 6. Okay. You should be getting 2/3, 15/22, 5/22, as well as 5/11. If you drew a tree diagram, it will possibly look like this. Okay, but in this question they did not ask for a tree diagram. But a tree diagram could be used in finding out the answer. Can I move on? Next, question 9. Okay. Copy and complete the tree diagram. I hope that you are drawing a proper tree diagram. It should look somewhat like that. Okay. So the answers for part B would then be 5/108, 1/72, 1/36, 5 over 18, as well as 7 over 24. Okay. Next, we look at question 11. Did anyone need to see question 9? No? Okay, question 11. Probability of all females should be 91 over 855. Part 2 is 182 over 1539. And in part 3, okay, you should get 5591 over 15390. Because the number is so small, okay, we will also accept 0.363. Okay? Because I understand that in some calculators, they may not be able to produce exact fraction, okay, for numbers like this. Okay? Questions? Next, question 13. There are 10 letters. Probability that the first card is O is 3 out of 10. Part 2, 1 over 15. Part 3, 2 over 15. And part 4, 1 over 9. This is question 13. Okay? Alright, shall I explain question 16? In question 16, right, you are given that there are 18 boys and 17 girls in class A, and in class B there are 14 boys and 22 girls. Then select one person, either say boy or girl, from class A, transfer to B. And then from the new class B, select one student. Okay, so we want to find the probability that the student who was initially from class A is being selected. Okay, so if you were to draw a tree diagram to illustrate our understanding, class A 18 boys, 17 girls. So we are from here, okay, we are going to select, right, somebody to transfer. So if we had selected a boy, okay, then we will be having 15 boys to select from class B and 22 girls, okay, to select from class B. Right? And if we are choosing a girl, okay, at the start, that means that the total number of girls in class B will increase to become 23, and the number of boys will be 14 still. Okay, so this will be what the tree diagram looks like. Okay, in any cases, since we want to select that student from class A, okay, there is going to be only that one student out of a total of 37 students at the end. So we will be getting 1 over 37. Okay, because there can only be that one student out of a total 37 students. There's no working for this. Yeah, this is just your understanding and then you stating this form. Sorry? Yes, your visualization. Yeah, there's no working required for this one. Okay, there's no way to actually have any working for this. Yeah. Part 2. Okay, we want to find out the probability of selecting a boy. Okay, so there are two cases that we see. First case is we transfer a boy over, okay, and then we select a boy. Second case is we transfer a girl over and then we select a boy. So we are going with 18 over 35 times 15 over 37 plus the other case of 17 over 35 times 14 over 37. Okay, so our answer will eventually be 508 over 1295. Alright? Any questions? Okay? Okay, you can keep this exercise 2C yourself, okay? And then you plot it in. Right, I will take a look at it when you submit your files. I thought you asked me that yesterday. No. Yesterday, orange. Same as your textbook. Yes. Very fun. Then I collect and submit it to Mr. Tan. No. Your files check, submit to Mr. Yes. This has always been file checks. Yeah. No. All your life is in it. Clearly, you all have not been submitting files. Last year we didn't have files. Okay. Alright, next we look at exercise 3A. Any issues? Yes, sorry. Do I need to draw a tree diagram? Oh, you need to see a tree diagram. Okay, for exercise 3A, are there any issues with question 4? What about question 5, 6, and 7? No? Okay, then could you submit your exercise 3A to the front? Your chapter 2 one, you keep it on your own. In the meantime, I will return to you another 2 or 3 pieces of your homework. Plus minus, but you should use this one. You don't use this. Yeah, then you're not using the post-it diagram to do something because you have to think again, right? The whole purpose of post-it diagram is that you have one look for the sum. You don't have to look for it one by one and sum it up, right? That's the whole purpose. Okay, you should have received your exercise. That one is 2B, right? Okay. Or is it 2C? 2C? Huh? I thought I was there. 3A, yes. Wow, okay. Then when can I have it? Yes, it's number 27, my locker number. Okay, this one. Downstairs. Hey, wait. Downstairs or upstairs is very confusing. Downstairs, level 2. I'm a math teacher. So only science teachers is level 1. Okay. Next one, Haley, Bernice. So, is B.
Oh, here you go. That means the one simple.
They all stand.
What's the form?
How many what? You should be familiar. I don't think memory, but yes, it's require your memory. Okay, I hope that you have received your exercise 2A and 2B homework. Okay, as I mark your probability homework, right? Okay, I'm very concerned about your familiarity with prime numbers. So be very familiar with what are prime numbers. 2 is a prime number. 1 and 0, they are not prime numbers. Okay, and then previously I also mentioned about whole numbers. Is 0 a whole number? Yes. 0 is a whole number. Okay. Is 0 a positive integer? No. Okay. Then 0 is a negative integer? No. Okay. So non-zero, non-positive, that one be familiar with it. Prime numbers you got to be familiar. Your cards as well. 52 cards, playing cards. Okay. So there are 4 different. What do you call that? The clubs, heart and yeah, spade, and the other one is what? Diamond. Yeah, so is there a name for this? Is there a name for all these 4 together? Huh? That's your name, okay long. Yeah, so spade, diamond, club, and heart. Each one of it, okay, there are 13 cards in it. Out of these 13 cards, there are your numbers 1 to 10. Actually 2 to 10. Your ace, and then your jack, queen, king. Okay, so you got to be familiar with that. Joker cards are not counted into the 52. Okay, so these are some fundamentals that you got to be familiar with, right, in your probability. Okay. Then let me just recap my memory. Okay, so because of that familiarity, that lack of familiarity, that's why for some of your questions you are getting it wrong. Okay, other things that are common would be like vowels and consonants. Okay, vowel is your A, E, I, O, U. Okay, consonant is anything else other than A, E, I, O, U. Alright? So these are some terms that you encounter in probability. Okay? Questions? Alright? Then I want to also return to you this worksheet that I gave you for sets, which is what I gave you over when I was absent the other day. I'm very concerned because I noticed that when sets give you harder question you can't do. Okay, so I want to spend time today to go through it. Since you're preparing for your WA. Marisa, Katie, Anthony, Anja, Joanne, Nicole, Joshua, Shami and Toby here. Roger, Amanda, and Dylan. Okay, let me go through the paper. Very important. Okay, question 1. I think that some of you got confused. If you do your corrections, surely you will realize where your mistakes lie. Okay. So in question 1, we have the set with the elements A, B. One set itself, there is a set C, K, and T. Okay. So A is an element of A, that's true. Part B, the subset A, okay, the set A itself is a proper subset of A. So this is also true. Part C, the set C, so this is the set itself, is an element of A. That's true because we got this. Okay, it is an element. Part D, okay, the set AC is a subset. Is a subset of A. That is not true because it should actually be, in fact, if you want to say there is a subset, we should have say A and the set C. Okay? Only this is true. But otherwise D is supposed to be false. It should be true, 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 false, false, true, 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 false, false. Okay, somehow there's that pattern. Alright, part E. The set B is not an element of A because B itself then it is an element of A. Right? Okay, so B is supposed to be an element of A, not this. So it requires some focus, right? Part F, okay, KT, the elements KT in the set itself is a subset of A. And in G, CKT, where C is a set, okay, this itself is also a subset of A. So this is also true. Empty sets is always a subset of any set. So this is also true. H is true. Part I, this is not true because it is supposed to be this. Then it's true. Otherwise, this actually is supposed to be a subset of A. And for J, the set C is not a subset of A. This is also false. So same idea as in part I. So this is an element, not a subset. Okay? Next, question 2. Question 2, I generally have no issues. Okay? It is just about whether you can identify the common elements correctly or not and drawing your Venn diagram. Okay? I will take a photo of this one and I'll upload it onto our Google Classroom. Okay? My concern is actually in question 3 because I promised you that I will give you questions that are actually shaded and then create the notation. Okay? So in 3A, we have this diagram here. We are looking at B being shaded, but this part is not shaded. Okay? So in this case, we want to actually see as A complement intersect with B. Okay? So the answer should be A complement intersect B. Okay, because it's outside of A and then after that there's an intersection with B. For part B, okay, it is a straightforward one where B itself is not being shaded, so it's just B complement. Okay, so some of you can't give me for part B. Alright, and part C, okay, everything else is shaded except for this section. So you notice that, okay, coincidentally it's an opposite with part A. Since it's an opposite, what you could do is A prime intersect B and then prime, or else you could see it as A union B complement because it is A with everything else that's outside of B. See that? They actually mean the same thing. The difficult one was in part D. Okay? Part D, how am I supposed to describe this? Okay? So there are two ways that you could describe this. One common one that I noticed as I marked for those, mark through all your papers, and I saw that many of those that got it correct wrote this. Okay? So one of it is that we recognize A complement, so that means outside of A, intersecting with B. So that's why you arrive at this. Okay? A complement intersect B will give you this part. Okay? Then, for this part, it will be the other way around. B complement, anything outside of B, intersecting with A. So because it is together, we union it. Okay? So this is one option. Another option, okay, is that we could take A union B, which is both of it. Some of you simply tell me minus away A intersect B complement. There's no such symbol. They are sets over here. You cannot put a plus, minus, times, or divide sign suddenly. A number of you gave me that. That is entirely wrong. Okay, there's no such set notation. Okay. So what we could do instead is that A union B. Okay, you want to remove, right? Okay, so you can do intersection of A intersect B complement. Okay. Because A intersect B is this part, complement of it is outside, and then you want to intersect with the two of it. So either one of these answers will be fine. Okay. So in such scenarios, okay, what you got to do is to maybe break down the Venn diagram into pieces. Okay. Yes. 1 mark. Don't tell me you're going to lose this 1 mark, everything lose 1 mark, lose 1 mark, end up you got no marks, end up you with negative marks. Okay? You think that? Of course not. Okay? Clear? Next. Question 4, I don't have an issue as well. Okay, just that maybe some of you recognize your perfect squares and all that. Whenever you're dealing with sets, okay, please write down all the elements first. It will be easier that way. Okay, so this one I'm just, because this is just my working, so I just put dot 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 lah. You want you can list out every single thing, that's fine. Okay, listing out every single thing, that will be easier. Okay, so that you don't lose track of all the elements that you have. Okay, next. My concern comes in question 5 onwards. Okay, question 5, we got these elements in this respective sets. Okay, we want to list the elements of A intersect B complement. Okay, so A and B intersect means that we find the elements that are in common, but we want the complement of it. Okay, so we notice that A and B, the elements that are in common is A, C, and G. To take the complement of that means that we want everything in the universal set other than A, C, and G. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. If you struggle with trying to think mentally in your mind, what I would suggest is to draw a Venn diagram to illustrate this. It will be easier that way. Okay, so you can draw a Venn diagram. Alright, and then after put in all the elements, then you will be able to visualize it. Okay, I will not go into drawing it out, okay? Because I don't want to waste time, but you can do that on your own. Huh? I don't know, I just anyhow guess one. I don't think it was this way. Oh, okay, oh yeah, you're right. Venn diagram shouldn't be this way. B should be totally inside A. And then A and C got intersection, so it should look like this. Next, question 6. Okay, I got a lot of different answers. I think many of you didn't understand the question at all. Okay. Question 6, they gave you this. Simplify the notation. Okay. Simplify the notation means that we use the notation. This is the notation, not the sets. Okay, not the elements here. So to understand this, okay, you can draw a Venn diagram, right? So how do I know how the Venn diagram looks like? Okay, an equilateral triangle must first be an isosceles triangle, then it can be an equilateral triangle. So that's why all equilateral triangles are found inside isosceles triangles. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Then right angle triangles, there are right angle triangles that are also isosceles. We have seen them before. Okay, it is actually possible. Okay, so that's why there is some form of overlap here. Once you're able to draw this Venn diagram, it will be easier for you to visualize how A union B looks like. A union B will just be the entire A itself. That's why it is equals to A. And then part B, B intersects C. Okay, there is no intersection because there cannot be a right angle triangle that is also equilateral. Because equilateral triangles, all of it have 60 degrees for its interior angles. So there's no way for us to have a 90-degree inside an equilateral triangle. So there is no intersection and it is an empty set. I noticed there are a number of you who use this notation. That's fine, but please also be familiar with this notation. Okay, if question gives you this notation, ask you to write that, then please write this. Don't use this one. Okay. Part C, A intersect B. Okay, looking at this, A intersect B will just be B itself. Okay, so that's the answer. Next, for question 7. Question 7, we have different inequalities. Okay, and you're asked to list out elements, so you have to solve the inequality. Okay, solve it to making the x to be there. Alright? For some of you, I don't know how you go about solving inequalities. Okay, so we divide by 3 across. And in this case, move minus 1 first, then divide by 2. And in this case, times 2 throughout. Okay, after you get the inequality, then you will be able to see what are the numbers, okay, to be found. It is being bounded by, in this question, the universal set, which is a positive integer. Okay. For question 8, question says that A is a proper subset of B. That means A is found inside B. A intersect B will have to be A, so that's why it's equals to A. A union B will be B itself, which is B. Okay? Then for question 9, sorry, go and do it. Go home, do yourself. Huh? You want to copy the answer. But please don't just copy, please go home and do it again yourself. Okay, that's part of your revision. There's no point trying to always do new questions. If you do 10,000 new questions but keep making the same mistake, you will never learn one. Okay, you need to learn from your corrections. Okay, that's why corrections are important. Right? So, question 9, okay, you list out the elements in the respective sets, solve the inequality and you get this. Okay, to find out the elements in A prime intersect B, that means those elements that are not in A but found in B, you will be getting these elements. Okay, you could draw your Venn diagram in part B and then after that figure out whether it makes sense. Some of you are very strange. This answer wrong, but then your Venn diagram correct. It shows that you never double check your work. Okay? Then the shading should be like this. Right? Okay, moving on to question 10. For question 10, this will be your answer. Likewise, solve the inequality. Okay, figure out the universal set. Then you can figure out what is in set A and set B. Write down the number of elements in A union B prime. Notice that there is a prime outside the brackets. So it is as good as finding n number of elements in A prime intersect B prime. Okay, so that means that outside of A, outside of B intersection, that is just 5 and 7. So number of elements is 2. Okay, so A union B prime, the set itself contains the elements 5 and 7. And in part 3, A intersect B prime, the prime is found inside the brackets, so 3, 9 are the elements. Okay. Right, so that's your topic on sets. Okay. I have also prepared this worksheet for you to go and revise.